Hello, and welcome to Intellicus live demo on accelerating business growth with analytics. I am Zahra Kapadia, the moderator for today's demo. In the next 60 minutes, we'll give you a walkthrough of the solution and showcase how enterprises are leveraging next-gen analytics to streamline operations and grow their revenue. So before we start, let me quickly brief you about some best practices to follow. We request all attendees to please remain on mute while the presentations and demos are on. In case you have a question, please send your questions to me via chat or the Q&A option available in the panel. Now, let me introduce our speakers for today. We are pleased to have with us Piyush Tiwari. Piyush is leading Intellicus sales. He carries over 17 years of experience and have worked on varied software products and cloud technologies. In today's demo, he will take us through corporate presentation. We also have with us Vikas Wahi. He's a senior project manager with over 20 years of experience. In today's demo, he will walk us through the solution. Now, we also have with us our technology expert, Anurag Sanghai, technical architect at Intellicus Technologies with over 12 years of experience. He's our technical panelist in today's demo and will address all your technical queries at the end of the session. Thank you, Piyush, Vikas, and Anurag for joining in today. Now, I invite Piyush to begin with the corporate presentation.
Thank you so much, Jera, and it was a very good introduction. Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Piyush, and I'm going to take you through our corporate presentation and some technical information, which will demonstrate in our live demo today. I welcome you all, my industry colleague today for this demo, and thank you for joining. So our experience total of 18 plus years in industry and total customer base, we have around 17,000 plus deployment and 150,000 plus users are using directly or indirectly. When I mean directly or indirectly means like we have 50 plus ISV partners also. So they have integrated Intellicus in their product and they are deploying Intellicus reporting and analytics solution along with their platform and solution. We have a very strong team, 125 highly specialized engineers working day and night to improve our product according to industry demand and supporting our existing customers and taking all the inputs from the prospects like you also. So industry we have covered so far, like almost every industry like retail, BFSI, healthcare, entertainment, telecom, travel, technology, manufacturing. So there is no industry which are not using Intellicus, and we've got very good experience and SMEs from these industry to provide the solution on Intellicus platform for reporting and analytics. These are some companies examples out of around 50 plus partners we have, ISV partners who have integrated Intellicus in their platform like Snyder, Micro Focus, GE, 3M, Trintech, all Fortune companies. Maximum of the Fortune companies, they are directly or indirectly using Intellicus, the power of Intellicus of reporting and analytics. These are some direct users of Intellicus, enterprise users, Airtel, ANZ, AT&T, Vodafone, Citibank, as such many, around 200 companies directly they're using Intellicus, Bank of America. Now I'm taking you to the product capability slide. These are the features which comes with a single build. It's not that multiple installation you have to do. So the first, the salient feature Intellicus has, which is self-serve. When I say self-serve, we mean it, because any non-technical people like CFO of the company or some non-technical people can do their self-serve analytics. How they do, a technical user can create a semantic layer or business layer for them, and they can drag and drop to create their own dashboard, or they can do the ad hoc analytics by their own. Just they require, a very few training to be expert in or have expertise of Intellicus to, create own reports according to, KPIs they want to look at from the data. interactive dashboard we can design where we can have a multiple KPIs from the business domains or the business verticals, and we can correlate data from a different verticals from the same domain, like a finance or maybe operations, delivery, sales, everything we can create as a dashboard where we can do all the drill down, drill through, a very interactive dashboard we can create using Intellicus dashboard capabilities. Now we have OLAP. OLAP is a very a good technology for visualizing your historical data. So where we can pre-segregate the historical data for multi-dimensional view. Then availability on marketplace. So anyone can go and instantiate machine on Azure and AWS, where AMIs are available or VMIs are available on these marketplaces, and they can start using the power of Intellicus machine learning and what if prediction capabilities. So we have integrated R and Python. So there where we don't have to toggle between two platforms, like if we want to do some machine learning models to be created for your organization, so we can do every a possible scripting model and everything inside the Intellicus. So that's how we leverage the power of machine learning, AI based solutions, like we can get it in terms of data cleansing, in terms of predictions, what if analytics. We can leverage that rightly from Intellicus platform. ETL. So Intellicus has got its own ETL where we can connect with multiple data sources. We have experience of connecting more than 50,000 different data sources on single instance, right? And all around 70 plus connectors are available, ready-made available. I'll cover that in next slide. That will come to know. And then we can create a single view for our data by massaging the data, correlations and everything using ETL capability of Intellicus. Now, report scheduling and bursting. So this is one of the most powerful feature also we have, where we can schedule the reports in the form of all Microsoft Office formats or PDF formats, and that can be exported to internal or external users also. And we can schedule and burst it, like send an email, bulk emails, or maybe FTP transfers we can do, where people can view their reports. The external people I'm talking about, even internal people can do. Intellicus can white label, as I was mentioning, like around 50 plus ISV partners we have. So we can embed Intellicus in any existing platform, and that can be white labeled. So that can be camouflaged according to your existing platform. And people can have their own tab for reporting, where they'll have in that particular tab a full power of Intellicus of reporting and analytics both. Big data connectivity. So we connect with all big data sources available in the market. Enterprise security. So our majority of customers and partners are from banking, insurance domains. So we are very much paranoid about security. So we have third-party security major companies. They perform all the audits every quarter, and we have a proper certified platform for any third-party injections, vulnerability, and other security check. So we are certified secure platform. Mobile apps. So Intellicus mobile apps are available on Azure. Sorry, my bad. On Apple devices or for Android devices, where we can directly download those mobile apps, and we can have the power of reporting of Intellicus on our mobile devices. I'll move to the next slide. So data flow architecture. So generally we see these kind of data sources we have, like ERP, CRMs, point of sales, HCM, HRMS, CSM, like all data sources, right? So with Intellicus ETL capability, we can connect to all these available data sources. I'll go through the connectivity part in next slide, and then we can create a semantic layer where we can do the connection part, designing the query flow parameters and all, and then we can design own cube using Intellicus OLAP technology, and that can act as your DW, data warehouse also. So cube data warehouse, create a cache or create a machine learning models, which will help you to have your predictive analytics or what if analytics, like availing the machine learning capability using Intelligence platform. Now we can do all ETL scripting parts and create a staging database if you have that strategy in your company to create a staging database or data mart or data lake. So that push a massage data to a staging database, that's also can be done. Now again, this is the main part, like how we are going to analyze or utilize those reports. So we can after creating these cubes, cache and everything, then we can have our BI visualization layer, where we can have the recommendations, MIS reports, real-time reports, schedulers, notifications, dashboards, and mobile BI. So all capabilities using single platform. And now that at the end comes that user. So what kind of a user? So Intellicus provide the row level security. So on the same set of data, we can create multiple organizational users and give them a row level, a data which is really related to their KRAs. Like CFO want to see only financial data, but CEO want to see this 360 degree of the data, or IT wants to look at all the security part and other things. Finance or HR want to see like a performance management. Sales want to see their target versus achievement, marketing, quality, admin. So all can be diversified using single platform. That's the capability and beauty of Intelligence. Now coming to deployment and data connections. So deployment, Intellicus can be deployed on cloud, on-prem, which wherever you want, like according to your security policies or the organization policies. And cloud could be any cloud, like Azure, AWS, GCP, any cloud, or your private cloud also if you have created. Then operating system we support. So Intellicus can be installed on Windows, Linux, any flavor of Linux, any version of Windows, but we recommend the latest versions. And Mac OS, like we install. Native connectors. So we connect with JDBC connectors with all databases, then API connectors for your applications, normal file systems. If you have like Excel and others, we can connect, or any unstructured data analytics also, connecting APIs and keeping that in files, or maybe processing that for visualization. We can do that, or streaming data, any streaming data we can connect, but that's on the push model. Like messaging queues we can connect with, like RabbitMQ or Kafka or something like that. Intellicus has got 70 plus ready-made connectors already developed. If required, it takes hardly a couple of days to develop a new connector if those connectors are not available in ready-made with Intellicus. And one thing I missed to talk you guys, like Intellicus is a totally web-based solution. So it does not require any individual client to be installed on individual users, but it will be installed on one server via internet or intranet. Every user can browse the Intellicus capability over browser, right from the designer to the viewer. All the capabilities available on any web browser. That is end for my PowerPoint presentation, and I would now request Vikas Wahi to present his screen, and let's take us through the live demo today.
Thank you so much, Piyush, for the same. A very good morning to everyone. My name is Vikas, and I'm going to demonstrate the product capability to you. While I'm going to do the product demo, just wanted to reiterate what you've gone through with Piyush. We'd spoken about the business user layer, and we've spoken about the data sources. So, imagine data coming in from varied sources, which are, your ERP platforms, traditional data sources, flat file systems. How is it that you can combine all the data and bring a meaningful interactive report for your business user to consume, and for him to understand how those KPIs are behaving and correlate and able to make decisions with the data. In today's uncertain times that we're going through, this plays a very important role, and data management is the near us that we have at this point. Now, starting off with the product demonstration here. Now, one of the important aspects that we're going to talk about is going to be the high-speed analytics report. how a business user can actually interact with those reports, correlate and understand different KPIs. Now, here we're talking about inventory management. Now, inventory management is one of the biggest asks that we have in today's scenario, where you would want to know what's there in stock that you have, how is it that has been managed, bringing in all KPIs that are relevant and important for the business to understand. Here we're talking about a data for a period of 3 years, where we have inventory which has been ordered, which is about 161,000 inventory, and then the bifurcation of that 161,000 into completed, declined, cancelled, and suspected. Now these are 3 years of data. Now, for example, you would want to look at 1 year of data. We can look at those drill downs to happen. But first, let me just quickly run you through all the widgets here, and then I'll be doing the slice and dice and correlations as well for you. Now, in the second widget here, you see the order versus complete tab here, which is a GOT chart, where you see 3 years of data. Now, each of these pie basically reflects the number of orders that have been received and how many orders have got completed. So for 2020, for an example, you see total orders that have been received is 38,730. Completed are 30,643. So you see the bigger pie here. That is the ordered, and the smaller pie here reflects the completed. You can also look at drill downs to happen, which we will do in a short while. Then the next category is about the product categories. What are the different products that have been ordered out of this 161,000 that has been placed? You see different font sizes here. These different font sizes reflect the count that each order consists of. And if the higher is the count, bigger is the font size, lower is the count, lower is the font size, or smaller is the font size. Then you have the shipping status of the product, where you know what is the shipping status, how many late shippings have happened, how many advanced shippings have happened, shipping on time, how many shippings were canceled, then the delivery status for those shippings. Then we have this pictorial graph, right? And in this pictorial graph, we've used, relevant to the type of use case, but in case if there is any specific pictorial graph that you would want to use specific to your business, we can bring in that as well. Here we're talking about top 5 products and what is the contribution we have of those top 5 products. And then we have the order count and late delivery, which talks about, this is a bar graph. It's a stacked bar graph, which has 2 measures in it. One is what is total order, and out of the total order, what is the late delivery we had. And then we have a RAG analysis. Now, this is a map for the US market, where you see regions divided into West, South, and West, Mid-East, and Midwest and Northeast, where you're able to understand the number of orders that each of those regions have given. So West has 60,000 orders versus Northeast, which has 17,000 orders, and Midwest, which has 28,000 orders. And then further below, you're able to look at the number of orders that have been given on a month-on-month basis and how they've been trending in terms of their in terms of the overall comparison versus the previous month. So in most of the months, you would see there are ups and downs, and specifically from January 2020 to March 2020 last year, where we had experienced the pandemic scenario, we saw that impact being there in terms of business across. And then thereafter, it got settled and started moving up. Now, coming to specific, giving you capability in terms of how we can interact with the dashboards. For example, you would want to look at 2020 here. I can just quickly put a filter, and I would know how 2020 numbers look like and what are the different types of product categories. So all my widgets actually would get refreshed and give me understanding for 2020. Now imagine, this data is coming in from different sources. So all of those sources on a runtime would actually give you the information specific to the selection that a business user would do. And that's something which is readily available for a business user to consume. Now, if I would want to now go ahead and do a drill down on this, I can do a drill down on 2020, and I can look at a quarter-wise performance. So for example, I want to filter on a quarter. I can then look at a quarter level performance. From a quarter level performance, I can go down to a month level performance within that quarter. And I can actually filter at a month level and understand how did that month behave. Now let's look at it, from a year to a quarter to a month, I can get to a day level as well, right? Or within the day. So last level of granularity in a date time hierarchy can be easily achieved depending on the data granularity that is available. And a business user can consume that level of granularity to interact on the dashboard. Now, on September in the year 2020, we see that total orders which were placed were 3,257, and then the bifurcation of those 3,257 orders, which is into completed, declined, cancelled, and suspected. Now, if I were to look at it, what are the different product categories? So, for example, camping and hiking had 575, water sports at 965. So this looks to be the most highly ordered product. So, I can just go ahead and put a filter here on that product, and all of my details would actually give me the understanding of that 965 orders. So that's another aspect that I can look at. Now in this particular use case, you're looking at 628 are the late shippings that you had. Shipping canceled is 262, advanced shipping and ordered, which is 204. And out of the overall orders that you had, 417 were actually early deliveries. Now, you had 359 late deliveries. Now, let's understand why these late deliveries and what is the impact. How many orders got canceled on because of these late deliveries? So I can just put a filter here, and I know decline were 40, 315 were completed. Now, you can easily understand, and 4 are suspected to be declined. Now, this is how a business user can understand what really has happened to each of those actionables, and is able to understand the the impact and which category do they fall into. Now there can be multiple such KPIs that you can actually bring in. Now let me just quickly remove all of these filters and then take you to the pictorial graph. Now, if you go to the pictorial graph here, on the top 5 products, we're talking about, these 5 products. If, for example, you would want to look at different types of product, you can quickly do a drill down and you'll be able to look at those different products as well, right? So, for example, if I would want to look at, say, the golf gloves. So I would just put a filter here and I'll be able to look at the golf gloves. Just give me one moment. I'm really sorry for this. All right. There could be some technical glitch at my end. My apologies for that. So here we are on the top 5 products. So golf gloves, in case if I would want to quickly filter on golf gloves and understand how did that behave. So I can look at that data and understand how did that data do for the overall 3 years. So I had 21,000 orders and so on and so forth in terms of my overall. So this is the product category that we had actually selected. Now, in this particular product category, on a month-on-month, how did we perform in terms of overall delivery? So I see that on a month-on-month, I see there are late deliveries that have happened. Now, there are late deliveries that have happened in the month of July, which is the maximum. So, for example, I want to drill down and I want to look at a monthly day level data. I can do that, and I can select a specific day and understand how did that area do. In this particular bar graph, you see that the bigger bar graph is the number of orders, and then you have a dark blue, smaller bar graph inside, which is called a stack chart, and that's the late delivery count that we have. Now, if I would want to just go ahead and give you the understanding of those 69 orders, a business user can actually look at those 69 orders and understand how did that happen. I'm just going to clear all the filters again and quickly now move on to the RAG analysis. Now, on the RAG analysis, we're talking about the US market here. Now, if you look at the US market here, we're talking about different regions, right? Say, for example, Midwest, West, and so you want to look at a YTD, you just click on it and you would have a yearly number available. You would want them to be compared to different years. You can look at comparing them with different years. You can just go ahead and do a selection. And the moment you select one, so if it is of 2020, it will actually include 2019 and it'll give you 2 years of numbers. Now, if I just go ahead and minimize this, you see 2 years here, which is 2019 and 20. And the entire RAG analysis gives you that view. And the entire data available would actually give you that view. Now, let me just quickly go ahead and give you the understanding of the order trend here. Now, in the order trend here, you see that in the year 2019 and 2020, there are certain highs and lows. So the graph, can actually give the understanding to a business user as to how the orders have been trending compared to the previous month. So for example, from the month of January to the month of February, there's a growth of about 13%, versus from the month of Feb to the month of March, there is a decline which is there for 43%. And we know that we had actually gone through this phase, which was in the pandemic, where we had seen the downside trend. Now, if you want to look at that for a specific product segment, you can just go ahead and click on that product segment. It will give you that information as well. You want to look at a specific kind of a region, you can click on that region and you can find details for that region. So a business user can actually look at multiple slice and dice of dimensions and understand how those dimensions are impacting the measures, and how these KPIs can impact him in terms of its overall decisioning. A business user can actually correlate KPIs coming in from different sources, data coming in from different sources, bring it onto the report designing layer, at the dashboard level, and interact with those KPIs. Now, I will quickly move on to a next important aspect of our interactions that we generally do, and that's the customer interaction. So, in today's scenario, customer interaction and customer experience is one of the most important factor for us to sustain our business and to sustain our brand and to ensure that we've got loyalties around. So, it's important for you to know and understand what's really happening there. Now, in a scenario where you were actually in an environment where you are attending customer calls, or where you're attending customer emails, or you are actually into a platform where you chat with a customer. So all of those transactions can be monitored. All of those important KPIs can be monitored, and they can be brought into a visualization layer for a user to understand how those interactions have been. Now, here in this scenario, we're talking about a scenario where you're receiving customer calls. Now, a customer call can be for any nature. And, what are the important factors? You should know how many calls that you've been receiving, how many calls you've been able to answer, what is the average handle time that you're spending. So average handle time is, the total time that you spend on a call, so that you know what is the total time that you've spent to manage the overall calls that have been given to you for the day, for the hour, for the week, for the month, or for the year. Now here we're actually talking about 2 years of data, so which is about 19.04 million transactions. 18.72 million have been answered. The average handle time per call there has been about 2 minutes and 1 second. The service level, which means that how many calls I've answered. So for example, the definition says that I have to answer 90% of the calls within 20 seconds. That means the bell of the customer should not go beyond 20 seconds. The ring should not go beyond 20 seconds, and I have to answer the call within that time, so that the customer has limited wait time. Now that's one of the metrics that we've brought in here. Then you've got average speed to answer, which is 12 seconds. Then the service level variance, call answered, how many calls were answered out of the total which were offered, and how many were actually abandoned. So a combination of this would be actually 100%. Now, if I were to go ahead and quickly look at filtering on 2018, I would know how 2018 performance has been. I can further drill down on 2018. I can look at a month level performance. In this particular bar graph chart, you see the service level as a bar graph here, and then you have a service level variance, which is a dotted red dots in the bottom below. Now, why they are at 0% right now is because they've been able to meet the target that has been defined. Now, for example, I want to drill down further, and I want to look at a week level data. From a week, I can drill down further, and I can look at a day level data. I can filter it down in the day and understand how did that day perform. So a business user can actually look at, interact with the dashboard and understand how they have been able to perform. Each of those KPIs have been able to perform. Now, for example, I want to look at from a day level to an interval level data. Now, here in this particular graph chart, you see that it's 0 to 24. Now, this is half hourly interval data that is available. Now, that's the kind of granularity where they would know what has happened on each of those transactions that have come in at a interval level, at a half an hour interval level. Right? And then other attributes which are important for business to understand, which is in terms of the total talk time that I've spent on a call. Now, why do you see these lines as red is also because they've been outside the thresholds that have been defined for this business. So here you see 4th of December, none of the metrics are met. The service level, average speed to answer, SLA variance, and so on and so forth have not met. They're all red. And subsequently, you see below is also the calls offered, number of calls that have been offered, how many calls have been answered within those intervals, average speed to answer. It is a red line. Why? Because it has been above the threshold that has been defined. Average handle time has also been above the threshold that has been defined. Hence, it is all red. Now, because of these matrices not in order, we've not been able to meet the service level. Right? Now, we've understood, how is it that I would want to look at in terms of a product level management at a supply chain. We've looked at how is it that I would want to manage a customer interaction or a customer experience and a performance insight. Now I'm going to move on to another use case, which is going to be a machine learning use case. Now this is the WFM prediction use case. Now in this use case, we would basically be demonstrating how a machine learning model can help you plan more efficiently in terms of a manpower requirement, or you can actually think about a scenario where you would want to know what are the different types of stocks that you need to order for your inventory based on the past sales that you've had. You would want to know what type of customers you want to onboard. You would want to know how would your revenue look like for the next couple of years. Think about all of those scenarios that can be related to your type of business. And you can actually look at building that kind of capability within your enterprise, that based on the historical data that is available with you, and based on the transactions that have happened, and based on external factors, which can be seasonality, festivity, any other external factors, customer sentiments, you're able to give that learning to the machine learning use case, and you're able to predict and empower yourself to understand how your future is going to be future is going to be in terms of the KPIs that you want to monitor. So here we're actually talking about a manpower prediction use case. Now, in this use case, we're actually talking about a data for a period of about 3 months. We'd actually used data for 3 months, and we predicted the data for about 8 days here. Now, in the first section that you see is the forecast. Now, this forecast is basically, a number that was achieved through a very calculated approach. When I say calculated approach, it means that it had actually looked into the growth factor and actually given that number. So this number was given by the business that they anticipate about 25,000 calls that they would receiving for the particular month for those number of 8 days. But when they actually received calls, they realized it was only 10,231 calls. So the variance between the forecast and the offered was 150%, which is the deviation percentage forecast here. Now, when we utilize the historical data, we understood that the variance between the forecast and offered is huge. Now we need to go ahead and bridge this gap. And that's where a machine learning model can actually help you to be more realistic to the scenarios, to situations, and give you more accurate numbers. So the product has a capability to be integrated with R and Python scripts and use industry level algorithms to provide you the output that you're looking at for your business. You can test different machine learning algorithms, models within Intellicus, and you can understand how those models are behaving, and you can utilize those outputs to actually understand the behavior of your business and how effectively you can plan them. Now we've got calls prediction here. Now this particular KPI was brought in by a machine learning algorithm, which we had used random forest here based on the historical data that was available of the call arrival. The model predicted that you can anticipate about 12,134 calls, which was more nearer to 10,231, which was the actual offered. Hence, the deviation of the model, of the machine learning model, was only about 18.60%. Therefore, it saved about 159 manpower for the business. Now, that's a huge number to save. Now, if you look at the variance here, I would just show you the variance of the offered and the prediction staff count. So you look at the variance. This is the forecast staff count, which is 25,428, and that's the upper line. Offered staff count, which is 10,231, which is the below line. And here, offered staff count, which is the below line, and prediction staff count, which is the upper line here. Now you look at the gaps in between both. So if you were to plan more effectively basis the model that you currently anticipate the business to behave, you may be in a scenario that you would look at certain losses to be booked. Versus if you were to look at a machine learning model where it can understand how those data trends have been impacting you, it'll be more realistic for you to look at future planning. So that's how it can help you. Now, I will quickly move on to another scenario. If you remember, Piyush had actually spoken about a what if analytics use case. Now, here actually I'm talking about, how is it that I know what my inventory is, I know how my customer is reacting, I know what I need to do in future for my business.
Sorry, I'm coming between. So we cannot see that screen. Probably you'll have to represent. We are at the OLAP screen right now.
All right, my apologies for that. Let me just quickly. I hope it's visible now.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Piyush. Thanks for helping me out. All right, so you've gone through the stock management. You know what's going to happen, what's happening in the past in your business, how they've been behaving. You know how to go ahead and look at different types of KPIs to go ahead and monitor your business. You know how you need to go ahead and look at planning in terms of machine learning use case. Now, what is the output that you want to look at, right? That's another aspect that you would want to evaluate. Now, you've done your planning, you looked at your historical data, all of that is in order. Now, what to expect? That's another use case that you can look at. And that's going to be, the most important factor for you. Now, in this case, we're actually talking about a service level prediction, where we're actually, if you remember in the second, the customer experience interactive dashboard, we'd actually spoken about the interactions of the customer, whether they're actually being answered at the right time or not, whether you have the adequate manpower to achieve that or not, and subsequent other KPIs which were important. So in the similar case, we're actually relating the what if analytics use case now, to the customer experience dashboard there. Now here we're actually talking about a data for a period of 31 days. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the selection here. So the selection that you see is basically the solid bar graphs, which is the historical data, and then you have the dotted bar graph and the line graphs here, which is the predicted data that you have. Now, let me quickly tell you, the service level is a bar graph here, agent count is a blue line graph, and calls offered is a yellow line graph here. Now, the model had actually used the data for about 31 days and predicted, how many calls you can expect for the remaining 15 days. What is the count of agents that you need to answer those many number of calls, and what is the output that you can get. So it says that I will not be able to meet the service level, hence my all bar graphs are in red right now. Now I can get on to filters, and a what if scenario is a scenario which empowers the business user to create different type of scenarios. What if I do this, or what if I do that? What is the kind of combination I can look at to achieve what I want to achieve? Now here in this use case, we're talking about volume, right? So in order to attend the volume, I need resources to be there. Now I'm not able to meet the target basis the volume that I have. Now what is it that I can do? I can just go ahead and improve the agent count. So for example, I increase the agent count say by 40%. Now, by the way, when I increase the agent count, my average speed to answer will also get reduced. And why they will get reduced is because they are correlated with each other. More the people, higher the efficiency. Now I'll just click on apply. And this would actually give me an understanding as to what output that I get. So it says that I'll be able to manage 19,000 calls. but I will still not be able to meet the service level. Now I can go back to what a scenario here. And for example, I just reduce the average speed to answer by 25%. And let's see what happens. It says that in most of the scenarios, I'll be able to meet the service level. So now 18,000 calls I need to attend. I will be able to answer 17,000 calls. Average speed to answer target will be 10 seconds. Agent count will be 133. AHT will be 131. And my output is going to be green, which is at 77. Now that's how it can empower you or the business user to understand what type of target he wants to keep for all those variables that can impact you to achieve what you plan to achieve. That's the kind of power that the business user can get. Thank you so much. That brings me to the end of my product demonstration. I would request for a specific Q&A or any kind of queries that you would have, and we'll be glad to answer that. Over to you, Zeda. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vikas. That was indeed a very insightful demo. So let's start with the Q&A session now. So the first question that we have here is, if Intellicus is hosted on cloud, how secure is a customer's data?
Okay, so Anurag this side. So we take care of the, as Piyush mentioned, that our product is properly pen tested. And apart from that, we support row level security and multi-tenancy support. So whichever data in a multi-tenant system or over the cloud are totally secured, and it's encrypted using a FIPS compliant algorithm. And no data is being stored. So whichever data, even at the time of processing or which is traveling over the wire, is fully encrypted.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Can predictions be applied on real-time streaming data in Intellicus?
Yes, we can do that. So we have that provision. We can even train and create a model and reuse it for the upcoming or the streaming data, which can pass on to that trained model and give the and get the predictions, and then use it on the reporting and dashboarding and analysis purpose. So we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question that we have here is, does Intellicus provide its customer with a complete data solution, or it's just a BI product?
So Intellicus is a BI platform. It's an enterprise-grade BI platform, which covers full spectrum of data engineering. We do have a team of specialists, BI specialists, and even they have domain expertise as well as technical expertise, which can help organizations to solve their data-related and analytics-related problems. So we do have product as well as services, both.
Okay. So the next question is, does the platform train the ML model and then can use it on streaming data, or the model has it to be trained off the platform?
So both the possibilities or both the options are available. So if you already have a trained model, you can use that in Intellicus, or you can do a training in Intellicus and then reuse it. So both the options are available.
Okay. So we have one more question around ML. So how easily can ML-driven tasks be integrated with Intellicus?
So that's a very good question, and that is the reason we have brought in this functionality or feature of a seamless AI ML using Intellicus. So the R or Python, or in future we have planned to include more data science related engines to be compatible with Intellicus. So there's this very easy and seamless or self-serve kind of a flow where data can be pushed into a machine learning servers like or engines like R or Python, and the output can be consumed, and this overall process can be automated and scheduled and synchronized. So it's very easy even for business users to do that. The second part of it is we also have a UI-based auto script generator. So if a business user is not very proficient in Python or in machine learning, so we have a self-guided UI wizard, where through the UI screen, you can select your data. You can select which field you want to predict, which all are the factors, and different algorithms available, and system will assist in generating the script. Python script. One can validate using Intellicus. So there is no need to go out to any external IDE or a screen for any machine learning capability. Everything is part of the Intellicus product itself.
Okay. So I request attendees to please send in your questions if you have any, or we can conclude in next 1 minute. Okay, so in case any attendee have any more questions, you can send us via email. Thank you so much, Anurag, for answering these questions. And thank you, Piyush and Vikas, for taking us through the presentation and the demonstration. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a great week ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.